Hey, good morning, everyone. Morning warm up. So, I am reading a book called Big Potential by Sean Aker. And specifically today, I'm going to talk about chapter number 6. And if you are a person who allows negative influence to impact you on a daily basis, you might want to read chapter 6. And so let's just talk about that. In there, he gives an example, a metaphor, if you will, of what's called a tidal moat. Saint Mont Michel in England was an island, and it was protected by a tidal moat. Now, tidal moat, what does that mean? It means that during high tide, you did not have to worry about attackers because there was 46 feet of water or so. Only at low tide, right? And low tide was just a set amount of time, so the soldiers could recharge during high tide and prepare for that low tide possible attack. How many of you have a mental moat that you create on a daily basis? So what do we mean by that? How do you defend against negative influence? So what's negative influence? Well, negative influence is a lot of different things. And when we're in that state of negativity, a couple things I want you to think about. You are less optimistic. You are not a good problem solver. And you have what's called learned helplessness. And he talks about this in that chapter. So what are the things that possibly give us negative influence? Well, news. Folks, stop watching the news. And if you do watch the news, do it in a controlled tidal moat, meaning there's a certain amount of time I give it, and when do I give it time to watch news? Well, not in your weakest moments, not when the tide is down. When is that? That's in the morning, and that's in the evenings, which what do most people do? Most people wake up in the morning, watch the news. Most people go to bed. Before they go to bed, they watch the news. And the learned helplessness comes from the fact that most of the stuff on the news you can't control. I always say this, and you can judge me for it if you want, but I don't watch the news. I'm not Pollyanna. I don't stick my head in the sand and say, oh, everything's great. I have a controlled time when there's news that I want to watch. And folks, if the news is bad enough, it finds me, okay? So that's one of them. What's the other thing that creates negative influence? Social media. You know, whether it's judgment, whether it's comparison, whether it's you're sitting there and you're having a hard day at work and you see somebody in social media as you're scrolling that's on a phenomenal vacation, and then you now are like, well, I wish I was on a vacation. I never get to go on a vacation. We do not even understand the impact that that has on us. Yet, you know what most people do? They will spend 4 to 6 hours a day consuming negative content without even knowing it. So my question for all of you is, how many of you, right, have the ability to control that? Do you have a tidal moat? Do you have a time when you say, you know what, tide is high, I'm not doing it? When is that? In the morning. So in the morning, what should you do instead? Write down your gratitudes. Go for a walk, right? Think about something that you're going to be happy about for the day. Put yourself into a mental state of positivity that allows you to protect yourself throughout the day. And before you go to bed at night, do not take on negative influence. Do not consume negativity, because you now are going to marinate in that because your non-conscious brain does not go to sleep for about 8 hours. So I want you to think about that and read the book, right? Big Potential by Sean Aker, specifically for this one, chapter 6. All right, everybody, I'll put a link to his book in my warm-up today. Make it a great day. Be awesome. Help somebody. We'll talk to you later.